Welcome back to Taja's cabin. This is part 3, and we're going to be taking a look at the upstairs soon. We've got a lot of work that's been done on the in the living room, but there are a few little changes and adjustments. I know I said that was done in the basement, but there have been a few small changes and adjustments down here in the basement, so we're going to talk about those to start with. And I was going to wait until I was done with the living room, but there's been a lot done. I kind of felt like this was a good time to make the next episode. For starters, let's see. I did not change anything in there. I did take this banner out and put a pelt here. I was running into a problem with an invisible wall that was showing up right here. Yeah, it's not here right now, but when I waited until the evening, for some reason, I was hitting an invisible wall here, and I thought it had to do with the collision barrier from that banner, because it moves. It has a larger collision barrier. Although I don't know why it would show up in the evening. That was really puzzling to me, and I thought the banner was the problem, so I took it out and I put that wall pelt in there, but I'm still having that thing show up. I figured it out now, but it took a while, and it has nothing to do with the fact that it was in the evening. It has something to do with the fact that if I waited, or if I left and came back, anything that would cause a save, when it reloaded, it was actually moving the activator from the mannequin that's sitting up there and dropping it right here. So I couldn't see it, but I was hitting an invisible wall. But normally leaving and coming back, it gets everything back where it's supposed to be. Some of the other mannequins in the armory over there were changing as well. So what else did I do here? I changed out the light source that was here. I wanted to get something that a little more closely matched these lanterns, and I turned the brightness down just a little bit. I talked about making a wood pile outside and making it a container and linking it to this one, but I hadn't made this a container yet, so I went ahead and did that. So now we've got our little firewood container. Let's see, I changed out the light source that was here. The blue light source was something that was a little less dark blue. You can see, hang on a second here. If you look where the crosshairs are, you can see the light source reflecting off the Dwemer metal, and I think this one, and off the Warrior Stone, and I think that matches the blue flame and color a little bit better. Over here, I reduced the size of that pipe, and then I stuck this thing on the end. I think it looks all right. Kind of makes sense, you know, something there a little bigger to help catch the fumes. I'm still looking for some kind of metal brackets that I can put on the sides here. Maybe one on top, maybe on this side, to kind of look like there's stuff holding it in place. Haven't found anything yet that will work really well for that, but I'll keep looking. Made some changes over here. For starters, you can see the display case is gone. I built this little wall here mostly because if I need to include a room bound, this might be helpful. I'll get into what a room bound is if you don't know later, if I need to employ one. In a nutshell, you adjust the size of this box around a room, and it tells the game when you're in that room bound to render that, but you don't have to render the other parts, so it just improves performance. But you can see I took out the display case. I had a bench in here. I tried a couple different benches. I've tried a few different combinations of chairs and tables, and ended up going with this. The table is a standard square noble table that I shrunk it way down. It looked and fit better in here, I think. And just a couple of chairs and some junk on there, and a candle on the wall. That's about it. Let's see, the only little adjustments I made over here, this table right here in the end wasn't quite lined up with the desk here, so I repositioned that just a bit. And that light right there was a little bit higher than the other one, so I lowered it just a bit and lowered the banner a little bit as well. That was the only thing I did over there. Let's see, did I do anything over here? I don't think I did anything over here. Oh, the rug. I almost forgot. The rug that was in here before, it looked nice, but I felt it was a little too bright, so I changed it out for this one. The other one just seemed it just seemed too bright. Like kind of felt like I was being blinded a little bit. So I put this one in. I think that looks better. Over here in the armory, I put a wood beam across the top there. And the reason I did is because there was not anything there, but you can see the logs are poking through on the sides. That's part of the design. That's not a problem. But this didn't have anything, and it looked kind of odd since I have a wood beam around everywhere else along the top in the corner. So I added that one. And the display cases were slightly repositioned. At least these four were moved a little bit to the left. And the reason is I wanted the display cases to be even with the end of the rug on that end as it is here. And I made the gap between these the same on both. And this one was a closer gap and this one was a wider gap before. I had this wider because this is, kind of matching where you walk into it. But I thought it looked better if they were the same size. So that's it. Just added that wood piece and did a little repositioning. I got rid of the handle that was over here and I replaced it with a pull chain and put that over here. I always felt like I was going to walk by here, I was going to jam my shoulder on that handle. So I thought, well, maybe I'll try a pull chain. I guess I could have just moved the handle over here just the same, but anyway, that's that. And in here, the only change I made is you can see the top two shelves have nothing on them anymore. And the reason I did that is because if the player, if I think this mod is good enough and I want to put it on the Nexus, I kind of wanted the player to have the ability or the option to put whatever they want on these shelves in here. And with all those static objects, I just denied the player that option. I just took it away. And I mean, that's the reason I put the gold and silver bars down here and not up here. So you had these two shelves. And those are the those are the main shelves. When you walk in, that's immediately where your eyes go. It's like if it's a store and you're going to put stuff on a display in the window, you're going to put it on your best stuff on these two shelves. And with all those static objects, I didn't give the player the option of doing that. So I removed them. And I moved the coin purses away too. I put some over here and some up there. But that's it. Okay, now onto the upstairs. A lot has been done, but a lot still needs to happen. We've got more walls in place, as you can see. And a lot of things have been added. So let's see. I guess we'll just start here. I had this, what do you call this? It's this trophy base in its regular size and a saber cat right here. And it looked a little too big. So I got looking at something smaller and I found this red wolf that I didn't know was an option. So I brought that in here. I still didn't like the look of the trophy base, so I brought over a desk and shrunk it down. And I really like how that looks. And it got a little table again with the Talos statue on it and the dagger display. I needed to put something here, and I didn't want it to be bigger than what's behind it. I've got the custom staircase right here. These are cut logs, the same ones that are on the bench downstairs. I still have to put in some support pieces because they're kind of floating in air right now, and a handrail, but it's in place. Here's our loft that I talked about. And I got some roof pieces in place. As you can see, there's still work to be done on the roof, but I just want to put them in position and see how it looked. I may or may not go with this roof piece. I don't like the fact that it's flat, but I don't have a whole lot of options because I've got a roof that's going to be angled differently over on this side, and I need a transition piece, and that's what this is. And I have no way of making my own, so it's this one, or if you look up way up above, there's another roof piece that I may use, but it's awfully tall, and I'm leaning towards this one. So we have we've got some statues and some planters here, and I built this little divider wall here. I tried a couple other things. I didn't really like them, so I found a Nordic grate and resized it, and the wood paneling that's right here all the way across the back, that's another floor piece from the Kateria. And the rest of it is just these same old timber pieces that I've been using throughout the house, and I added some ivy to it. I needed something here because if you come over here by the front door, if you walk in, there was this huge empty space with nothing in it. And I thought, man, I need to do something. I need to put something here. So I thought about putting a big statue and then maybe a couple of small ones. And I found a piece that's similar to this, but I didn't like the look of it. So I just built my own. I guess that looks okay. I still have to add some plants here. I put little rugs under the statues. I may change those out for something else though. But so we've got some weapon racks here and a shield rack up there, and the bookcases and a couple small tables. I've only got a few objects on here, so there's a lot more cluttering that has to be done here. Another little table there, wall basket, planter, little chandelier right here. I needed a light source over in this corner. And one mannequin. I did originally have a mannequin in each corner, but I decided to put the bear over in that corner. And I got rid of one mannequin and I moved that one over. And we've got our nice little setup here with our bench and a couple of chairs and a little table and some pelts on the floors and a couple little end tables. And we've got just some random stuff here on the top of the mantle. Mara, because, you know, if you got a statue of a topless woman, you had to include it, you know. Let's see. Yeah, got a couple animal heads on the walls there. I'm going to add a few more, and I may be moving that one. And our big bear, little wood pile. This object, I may keep this one, and I may move or get rid of these other two. I haven't decided yet. So like I said, there's still a lot of cluttering that needs to be done. But we've got some goat horns here on the sides of the door and the sides of that door. I think I'm going to add a few more weapon racks here. I got to reposition that pelt. And probably put a rug down here somewhere. Now, very important. Oh yeah, so we've got a chandelier up there and a chandelier up there. A couple of major changes, I guess. If you notice, these are the windows that I had in place, and they've been changed out for these windows. As you can see, on this side anyway, I still have to change them on the other side, but since I'm working in the living room, I went and changed these. Now, I have light sources right now. You can see a little bit of a glow from one right there. There's one right here in front of this window. They're called fill lights. And there's one right here. You can see how the front of the bear is lit up. Those are called fill lights, and their emittance is set so that they will basically be on during the daytime, but they're going to go dark at night. And I have other light sources that are going to come on at night. And there's one here under that chandelier. There's one here by these two wall sconces. There's one in here. There's one here in front of the front door, there's one by this candle, and there's one over here under the chandelier. And one in front of the fireplace. You can see this area is not very lit up, so it looks kind of strange. Why wouldn't this area be lit up with that big fire? I didn't want to cause issues with the fill lights, so I decided to have that one set to be off during the day. I'll show you that effect here shortly, but I want to talk about these windows a little bit more. And the reason I decided to change them out is because you can set the windows for the same emittance that I did with these light sources. So these windows will change from white like they are now to like a yellow, then an amber, then a dark amber, then gray, then a dark gray as the afternoon progresses into evening and then into night. And in the morning, you'll have the opposite effect. So when these things go dark, the fill lights go dark with them, and then the other light sources take over. It's a pretty neat effect. These lights here, they would not do that. And that is some immersion that I absolutely positively had to have. I didn't like the fact that at night you had these bright windows and they wouldn't change. This light here, this is the one from that Riften piece that I was talking about. I like the look of this one. The changes are actually a little bit nicer on that window than this one, but because I had to push it back so far, you can see this box I had to build around here to fill in that gap. And it just looks strange with the window sitting that far behind the walls. It almost looks like the window is outside the house. And it just really bugged me. This window comes from a smaller wall piece and a much flatter one, even flatter than those. So I dropped that into place, and it looks pretty natural in there. And it's a little bit bigger, which I think I think it'll help. And you're gonna see. I'm gonna wait a little bit, and we're gonna see how these windows and lights will take effect. Okay, 3:15, good. Let's wait 2 hours. Be 5:15. You'll start to see some of the changes. See how the windows are starting to change color a little bit, and the Riften windows changing color a little bit too. But these are not. And the fill lights, especially if you go and look at the bear, it's not lit up quite as much as it was. And we're starting to get a little bit of illumination around the fireplace. Let's wait another hour. Now you're starting to see a little more of I've got some nice kind of orangey lights. And you're getting a little more illumination around the fireplace. You can see the windows have gone to like a dark amber. You can see a little bit of a glow on the wall as these other light sources are taking effect. Wait another hour. Now it's becoming more noticeable. The doors are lit up. The windows are still have a little bit of an orange glow, but they're going mostly gray now. You can see we got more illumination here around this light. And the fireplace, you've got a lot more illumination around here. The bear is being lit from the top now with this nice orangish glow. Let's wait another hour. You see the windows have gone pretty much dark. And we've got a nice glow from these light sources, which I think really enhances the logs in here. I think it looks really great. And the fill lights out of here are completely out. As they should be, because it's dark out. So that was an immersion factor I absolutely had to have. And now you can see you've got a lot more illumination around the fireplace and also the seats out here. And you can see how this is all lit up nicely. In the morning, the opposite will happen. So, that's going to be it for now. I guess we'll end with this lovely view of the first floor. And stay tuned. A lot more work to be done. A lot more is going to happen. and I will see you in part 4.